beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be working in our permaculture garden, planting phlox. Isn't that beautiful? That's beautiful. And I'm probably not going to say this right, plumbago. Totally beautiful blue flower. So the goal today is to put these into our permaculture garden. Now, we had done a Texas wildflower mix and we had had stuff come up. There is some things that came up that we haven't enjoyed and haven't cared for. They were more like, I don't know, this weedy, grassy stuff, and it wasn't flowering or looking really pretty or anything, and it was just taking over the space. So what I have done is I have cleared that out. As you can see, we've got some major gaps over in here, but it has allowed the echinacea and all to finally come up really well, which is awesome. But we need something to fill in these gaps so that we don't have any weed encroachment. So the more you plant and the more that you put into a space, the less likely you are to have weed encroachment, native or otherwise. Now, we kind of fell in love with this blue, like I said, it's a Cape Plumbago. I'm not going to be pronouncing it right, but it's really pretty and it's got kind of a blue cast to it. Blue is not a color that you normally see out in nature very often. Believe it or not, there's things that are just not quite a true blue, and this does have a little bit more purple in it, but the pollinators seem to love it, and it's going to fill in right here along the very edge of the ridge. Perfectly, in fact. So that's what we're just gonna do. We've also got this that we've got to clear out. That's one of those native grassy things that I told you about just a minute ago. We need to get that cleared out, and that'll give this space, because this guy will get about 3 foot by 3 foot, which is fine by us back there. So what we've been doing is we've just been collecting odds and ends, different flowers and perennial plants for the permaculture garden, medicinal, a lot of them are medicinal herb plants too, to just fill in back here, because we are trying to naturalize it as best we can, which is why we appreciate it when our neighbors don't throw trash back here. Not saying that they do that, but they might do it quite like daily. But we are trying to naturalize it so that we can affect the entire ridge line down here along this dry creek bed, because the more you develop it with wildflowers, perennials, things that will naturally spread themselves, the less of the nasty weeds and things that you get, and the less likely you are to have like field mice and things. They don't tend to be in the medicinal echinacea and things like that. They don't seem to gravitate to staying there, probably because they can't hide as well in it. At least not here, the way that it grows. That might be a different experience depending upon where you are in the country of America, or world, really. But yeah, so that's our general plan, is to help develop all the way down the creek. But we've got to go on ahead, like I said, rip that out and then get these guys planted into the ground. We've got some good soil development back here, so we are probably just going to use some Espoma biotone in the bottom of the holes, and then backfill with the native dirt, because the amending back there is pretty darn tootin' awesome. So yeah, I'm liking our dirt. But let me go on ahead, put you on hyperlapse, and we will get these plants into the ground and you can see the results afterwards, okay? Okay, so that didn't take too long, guys, which is the good news. Let me go on ahead and give you a really quick garden tour of our permaculture area. so that you can see what we're in the middle of developing. Maybe you can get a little bit of inspiration for a space on your property to do this as well. This is honestly one of my favorite spots. It's very low maintenance and it's always stunning and always beautiful, and I do love filming little short clips of it throughout the season. Okay, so down here at this end, we've still got some bachelor's button, and that's what this is, and we do want it to seed itself. But whatever that weird grass thing was, it was really choking out the bachelor's button, so we left them there to hopefully self-seed again into this corner. A good thing I had a very large harvest last year so that I don't have to worry about it. But here we've got a salvia, and that is a perennial for us. As you can see, I had done a very quick tip video on Instagram. So we are over on Instagram if you didn't know that. But if you keep your perennial flowers trimmed, they will keep flushing flowers. And this is almost completely loaded. So we should be seeing these guys open in the next week or so. And then we have our new plumbago. Probably not saying that correctly. We have rutabaga here. I'm suspicious that this right here might be a prunella that we had planted. I don't know 100% for sure. I'm not as familiar with that one. I need to read up a little bit more and study up on it a little bit more and look at some photos to be definite. We have thrift right here at the front, and we do have plans on bringing the permaculture into the yard a little bit more. So it's decidedly here along the ridge line. Mom's currently weeding for us over here. So the permaculture will be coming in minimum another foot, probably closer to 2 foot. And then we will have a walking space here, and we'll end up putting mulch down. So the mulch will come from over here, and then it'll go all the way down, and we'll have a path around all the way around up in there, and then over here in that shortcut area between this tomato bed and the herb bed down there. After the thrift, we have another perennial salvia. Then we're kind of getting into our echinacea line. We did have at one point some Indian blanket in here. We're thinking it may be trying to reseed itself. We're hoping. And then that is a silver, is that thymus?
Yes.
Silver thymus.
Smells beautiful.
Yeah, and it's got an amazing smell, and it's really, really low. A lot of weeds don't like to grow up in it, so we're actually thinking of getting some more to put along the edges just to help with weed encroachment. Then we've got lime twister here. It's not fully opened up yet, but you can see the bees are really starting to get happy because our echinacea has all opened up. This is a Sunny Days yellow. We have the white kismet over here. There were technically 3, but I think this one and this one are the only one that survived the winter for us. So a little bit, that's a little sad, but they will end up spreading themselves, so we're not going to worry about it too much. And then this is from that wildflower mix. So this is just your typical medicinal wild coneflower, very typical in the shape. Quite lovely. The bees love it. We think we've got a wild fever few. This over here is some yarrow, and it started out as sort of a coral, and it's turning to a blush and a cream as it's starting to die back. And once those blooms are spent and done, I will go ahead and trim those as well and let it flush back. We do have some bachelor's button over here that's taken, thank goodness, so it should self-seed back here. Oh, we also have, I'm probably not pronouncing it correctly, of course, more salvia, and this one is starting to bloom. And I had cut it back at the same time. That's an ajuga. Ajuga is really nice low ground cover. Things don't like to grow up in the middle of it either. And it seems to spread more than what the tag says. So it's gotten to where it's probably close to 36 inches over on the side garden. So I'm hoping this guy over here will do the same. I don't know that it will because it does get filtered sunlight, so it may not be as big and aggressive, but that's okay. And then over here we've got a penstemon that is fighting the good fight. It's starting to come back. I think this is a self-sown zinnia patch, which is totally fine. If they want to self-sow here, that's cool. Okay, so I forgot the name of this. Spiderwort. That's it. Yep. Spiderwort. Okay, so this is a spiderwort, and it was kind of a little bit iffy looking, but I decided to bring it home and try and recover it, and it's actually improved, and it's trying to bloom, and it's got buds on it now, so I'm taking that as a good sign. But the spiderwort is pretty cool because supposedly if you touch the stamen here and the bloom goes from this purple color to a pink color, that means that you have some radiation in your system. So, very interesting plant.
What's this?
I need to read up on it a bit more, but yeah, so this is the perennial permaculture area, and like I said, it is one of my secret favorite spots in the garden. It's
when it's not weedy.
Well, yeah, when it's not weedy, which it is a little weedy at present. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, given that we had that weird stuff coming up. I thought it was going to be a lot worse underneath with our wild strawberry, but thankfully it's not been as bad. So we do have a little bit more weeding that we need to get done, but otherwise we are done over here for today. I just need to get those plants watered in down there, probably give the rest of these guys a nice healthy drink since we're supposed to be in the high hundreds this week. If you are dealing with those kinds of crazy temperatures, don't forget to stay hydrated. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. I can't tell you how important that is. So guys, I will see you on the next video. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you have any questions or comments, go on ahead and drop them down below. I'd love to hear from you. As always, keep it simple, natural, and essential. We'll see you on the next video.
Like, share, and subscribe.